Yeah. You want to stay? Alrighty.
And oop.
Okay, so I messed up. I completely borked the recording. Actually, just the first part of my sordid tale. So what had happened is I work in a warehouse, and my coworker and I crossed paths. He was coming, I was going. He was walking to, I was walking fro, and then he pointed at the ground. And well, why don't you take it over from here, myself?
And oop.
And then he points to the ground. He says, "Look, there's a hummingbird on the ground." And I looked down and I was, by George, there's a hummingbird on the ground. I thought, okay. And I'd walked by it a few times, but I thought it was a leaf. I didn't give it much thought. It was greenish, brownish, and it was still, like dead still, but it wasn't dead. We found out. But it just sat perfectly still. And it was odd because like it looked like it didn't have any feet. Like it was just from the belly up. So it must have had its feet retracted in its feathers or whatever. It was a very odd sight. So I'm like, oh wow, is it dead? Is it alive? What do we do? What's the protocol? And so we're kind of standing around, and then I thought, well, let's go get my coworker, who I'll call Harry. Or as the English pronounce it, Harry.
Not his real name.
Not his real name. Dramatization going on here. But I was like, let's go get Harry. Because Harry, he's like the Huell Hauser of my job.
Oh my gosh.
He knows everything. He has hot takes about everything. He's endlessly entertaining and fascinating. But I was like, he'll know what to do. And even if he doesn't know what to do, he'll do something. And I'm not going to touch it. And my coworker who pointed it out to me wasn't going to touch it. So we stood there, and Harry was off in the distance. I was like, Harry, come here. There's a bird on the ground. What do we do here? So Harry comes over.
And oop.
So I say, Harry, there's a bird on a concrete floor over here. So Harry comes over, and he puts on some work gloves so he can handle the bird. I'm like, okay. And I realize this is small stakes. But when do you call animal control, or do you get the first aid kit, or someone with experience?
Right.
Like Harry Huell Hauser. I don't know if he is. He's not a veterinarian. He doesn't have a history of working on animals, on the wild, on birds. But Harry comes over. And he has work gloves on, and he picks the bird up. And the bird starts making a few movements, like when Harry's just trying to jostle him into his gloves. So the bird's alive. Not very alive. So Harry picks up the bird. I'm like, okay, this is, I want to see what happens next. Harry decides to bring the bird outside. And I said, first of all, I was like, why are you bringing it outside? It's nice and cool in the warehouse. We have AC. And Wednesday, it was freaking 98 degrees outside, okay? Like, what are you doing? At least put him in the shade. But no. Harry took Hummy. That's what I call the hummingbird.
Little Hummy.
Hummy and Harry. Harry took Hummy and put him on our dumpster. Like, we have a couple regular sized dumpsters out there for trash and whatnot, and the dumpster's lid was closed, so he puts him on top of this dumpster in 98 degree heat. It's in the sun.
Metal lid.
Yeah,
That's been roasting in the 98-degree sun.
right. I was like, oh, we're having hummingbird tonight for dinner, Harry. What the hell, you sick no. But I was like, is that the best move? And Harry was like, "It'll be okay. Just like when you're playing soccer and someone gets the wind knocked out of him, and the coach goes, just give him some room. That's what Harry was saying. It was like, just give him a second. He's got to collect himself, and he'll pull it together." And I was like, yeah.
So, how is this environment going to help the bird get revived?
I don't know.
No shade, no water.
Well, it didn't. Spoiler alert. Yeah, I mean, outside, okay, but in the hot sun, not okay. On a dumpster lid, not okay. And the dumpster is pushed up right next to our docking bay where like giant trucks come up and back in and unload pallets of whatever. So if the Hummy manages to kind of finagle himself and puts on a few moves and tries to move around and make his way towards the end of the dumpster lid, he's gonna fall 10 feet to his freaking death, dude. So I was like, what the hell? It's hot. There's a 10-foot fall at the edge of this dumpster. What the hell are you thinking? He just leave him alone. Just let him be. And then Harry's partner, if you will, compatriot, comes over and like he had a cup of water, and so he pours some water where the bird is, where the
like
hummingbird.
on him, like he's waterboarding
No,
the
no,
bird.
no.
Oh.
Yes, he waterboarded. he took him. It was like Abu Ghraib honey for hummingbirds. No, he poured it right next to the bird, but it kind of it spilled down to where the bird was.
Okay.
But still, I was like, okay, like is water like he needs a power bar or a Cliff Bar or some sort of nutrition.
I would have gone to water too,
Yeah.
because at least because of the heat, at least maybe you can cool the bird down.
Yeah,
Sometimes water like kind of wakes you up and
yeah.
shocks you into consciousness.
Before you go.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, the water dried up quickly. But so here's this bird on top of this dumpster with a little water stream about him, and I was like, this isn't gonna be good. And so left him alone because I don't know what to do. Would you call animal control? There is a bird on its last legs. Would they? I wonder what animal control.
I don't think they would do anything.
They would say, let him go. Pull the plug. Dr. Kevorkian, am I right?
They would say do anything but put it out in the sun on top of a metal lid.
Yeah.
Anything but that.
Right. You didn't put it on top of a dumpster on a metal lid with a 10-foot fall, did you? Well, actually, Harry. So the bird's moving slightly, like it's alive, but just barely. And not 30 minutes later, I passed by the dumpster. The bird has keeled over. Rest in power.
Had it moved at all, or is it?
Yeah.
Oh, where did it move?
It was just in a different position, but it was still on the dumpster.
Okay.
But it literally, like, it was just on its side. Like, it just went pew pew. So the first thing I did was call the district attorney to press charges against Harry, and I called him the new Michael Vick. Okay. But why did he do that? Why? And I didn't do anything. So am I sort of at fault? I don't.
You were an accomplice.
Yeah.
At most, Harry is guilty of manslaughter. I hope you never call Harry again in an emergency. You learned your lesson.
Well, not in a real emergency, but a minor emergency, a little bird. So now when he gets to work in the morning and gets out of his car, I start screaming murderer at him. Murderer, murderer, murderer. I got that from the pro-life movement, honey. So I'm like, well, Harry, are you gonna give Hummy a proper funeral? Are you going to have a wake? I know Alan Fisher. He ran East Lawn for a decade? 2 decades?
They have a pet cemetery.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
For people who take it seriously?
Yeah.
How much is the cost compared to a human?
I don't know.
We talked today about our cat dying. Well, he was up in Luna's loft, and we always think he's going to jump down.
Frankie loves to go up to Luna's loft and stand on the ledge and look down at us in the living room down 20 feet below.
Yeah.
And sometimes he kind of leans too far and we all freak out a little bit.
Yeah, he like reaches his paw down.
Yeah. Like he's going to slide down the wall or something.
And I said, okay, so if he jumps and he hurts his whatever leg, paw, and it costs $800, what would be the call, honey?
I'm fixing him for $800.
If
it gets like into the 1,000.
Mm-hmm. So 1,000 or 1,500 or 2,000?
I don't know.
And then I guess if it's $6,000, you would say, just put him to sleep. Put him on the dumpster. Give it to Harry. Harry, here's our cat. Take care of it. Maybe he'll be a animal hitman now. And so I said, Harry, have you seen Old School? Because at the funeral, I want to be like Will Ferrell singing Dust in the Wind. All my dreams. You're my boy, Hummy. Harry has seemed very unfazed by it. And at first, I thought he was just dealing with the grief. But then I just realized he doesn't really care. And
what did happen with the corpse?
It's gone. It wasn't there the next day. So
was it there when you all left that night?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. So what I think happened is that like a vulture and a hawk seized down upon Hummy and started like pecking. Well, first they started fighting each other, and then they started going after Hummy like with their beaks and their claws, and it was like Mel Gibson and Braveheart like pulling them apart. But yeah, he's dust in the wind. All we are dust. But yeah, that's the story. Harry.
The sad short tale.
Every time I see Harry now, I just go, you murderer. You horrible person. How could you kill? Killer! You're like John Wayne Gacy for birds. But yeah, that's my story. Any final words, honey? Thoughts, feelings, comments, reflections?
No, I'm sitting with my grief now.
And oop.
Yeah, so tonight, when you're drinking that 40 ounce of Old English or St. Ides, Mike Rasmussen preferred Mickey's. But when you're drinking your 40 on your stoop, pour a little liquor out for Hummy. And say, rest in power, Mr. Hummingbird. And yeah, if you happen upon an animal, again, I didn't have an alternative solution, but what Harry did, Harry, was completely wrong. Just idiotic. And it resulted in a death.
Instead of helping Hummy die in comfort and peace, he died in discomfort.
Yeah.
Heat.
Yes, not the way you want to go. So yeah, Harry the killer, homicidal Harry. I'm working on it, workshopping it. Alliteration is very important. Alrighty, well, are we done, honey?
Yeah.
Alrighty, well, that's the end of the program. It's been fun, but not really. Let's all try a little harder next time. Oh, and by the way, so when I was yelling bloody murderer at Harry the other day, he said, "It's as much your fault as mine." And I said, "How?" And he said, "Well, you didn't do anything." And I said, "Okay, I'll take 5%
I think you're
of the charge. 10%.
I think you're closer to 40%.
Okay, well, what about the first guy who I was crossing paths with, who noticed the hummingbird? Is he at 6%? Am I 8%?
You and that guy, everyone's equal.
We should all go down.
And oop.
Alrighty, well, that's the end of the program. It's been fun, but not really. Let's all try a little harder next time. Like, comment, subscribe, follow, review, and rate, or don't. Do whatever you want. You're a grown-up. Make your own decisions. Do what's best for your family. Please be sure to use our promo code for HelloFresh. We don't have a promo code for HelloFresh. Goodbye, my podcast friends. I love you. My wife and I love you. We hope you have a good day today and tomorrow. And sure, I may not have intervened in the death of a hummingbird, but I'm still a good person and we're still good people. Should I have taken action once it was on the...
You should have moved it off the dumpster and back
dumpster?
inside the warehouse.
Okay.
Into the shade, at least.
Yeah.
And then listen, that bird was dying.
Yeah.
All you guys could do was help it go out peacefully.
Right. And comfort.
Yeah.
I could have held its paw.
You could have sung to it.
I could have read Bible verses to it. I could have read Chicken Soup is Good for the Soul or whatever that book is. We could have put on some music.
Yeah.
Should we bury him? Oh yeah,
He's gone.
He's gone. But like when people die in an earthquake, they still have, and they can't find the body. They still have.
You need
remains.
to make a little memorial for it.
Yeah,
Definitely.
in the parking lot. Yeah. Say a few words, Hummy. This is all Harry's fault. It's not my fault. Remember, Hummy. Goodbye, my podcast friends. I love you. My wife and I love you. We hope you have a good day today and tomorrow. Yeah, sure. But I'm still a good person, and we're still good people. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your time. We hope you have a wonderful day/night. Oh, bye-bye.